So this is the last video I'm going to be able to make on my phone, and I want to take a minute to talk about the Salesian spirituality. This is a way of life that was developed by St. John Bosco that he taught to his followers, the Salesians of Don Bosco. That was the order I was with, and I want to share this simple spirituality with you. I think it is effective not just for kids. It's simple enough for a kid to do every day and become a saint easily, but it's also easy for anybody to embrace this way of life. It has 7 simple principles that I want to talk about here real briefly. 1, be cheerful. 2, do your duties well. 3, stay close to Jesus in the Eucharist. 4, honor and love Mary as your mother and helper. 5, be kind. 6, serve rather than be served. And 7, remember death. So first, be cheerful. And it just means simply that. Be cheerful. How do you be cheerful? Trust in God. Know that God's got this. Whatever's happening, God is in control. And that moves on to the next thing. Do your duties well. We all have things that we have to do each and every day. Do them to the best of your ability. Why? Because that's whatever God has put on your plate today. If today you got to do chores, then do chores and do them well. If today you've got to do homework and do it well. If today you got to do a big project for work, then do it and do it well. If today you play, you go to Kings Island and play, then play and play well. And that's what God wants you to do today. So it's this great trust and providence that whatever is going on, you may not be able to control it, but God is. So do your part and do it well. Whatever it is God asks for you to do. Be a good son, daughter, father, wife, whatever you are. Do it and do it well. Stay close to Jesus in the Eucharist. Make time for prayer before and after Mass. Really engage in the prayer during Mass. Now, granted, during this time, it's hard to be with the Lord and the Holy Eucharist. But remember, He is with you. He is Emmanuel. He is one with us. He is always with us wherever we go. Set aside time. Designate time each day for prayer. And don't miss it. Don't miss your date with God. Honor and love Mary as your mother and helper, because she is your mother and helper. She loves you, she cares for you, and she is helping you. She is with you. Like any good mother, she's always got your back, and she's always caring for you. And of course, she is not God. She can't do what God does. But being Jesus' mom, she's got a pretty powerful place to intercede for you. Next one, be kind and serve rather than be served. They kind of go together. Focus on others. Don't focus on yourself. Focus on others. Focus on serving and loving others. That's the way Jesus taught us to be. That's the way we're meant to be. We're meant to be focused on other people. That's part of the whole idea of being created in the image and likeness of God, is that like God who loves, we love as well. Finally, remember death. Remember that this world, as it is, this is not our home. The way things are right now is not the way they're meant to be. We're meant for heaven. And we're meant to lead others to heaven. So keep that at the forefront of your mind. That each day, I'm striving for heaven. Each day, I want to lead others to heaven. And that my death, I don't want death to come to anybody. But it will come. There will come a day where I will have to meet my Maker. And I want that meeting to be joyous. I want that meeting to be what I've been hoping for my entire life. And if I can follow these simple steps in the spirituality, it's easy to do each little thing in here. It's hard to live it out every day, but if I can persevere in my love and in this spirituality, Don Bosco taught us that we can make it to heaven because we will be living the way Jesus created us to live. I wanted to add one more thing about remember death. It means always being ready for death. One of Don Bosco's kids, St. Dominic Savio, was really good at answering this question. Some of the kids asked, what would you do if the world ended now? And some of the times, well, I would go to confession, I would do this, I would do that, kind of the whole freak out thing. And Dominic said, well, I'll just continue to do what I'm doing. Because he was ready. He was ready. Part of being ready is doing an examination of conscience every night. Not have to be long, maybe 30 seconds, but processing your day and remembering, this is what I did good. Asking God to help you keep doing those good things. This is what I did wrong. Asking God for forgiveness. Going to confession if you need to. Remember to go to confession regularly. And then trusting in God's help not to do those things again. So the final part of that, all of this, we got to put forth effort, but we can't put forth that effort without God's grace and God's help. So we got to pray. We got to be in constant union and communion with God. Constantly trusting in His power to help us be the saints we're called to be, to strive for sanctity, and knowing that He is with us and He will help us. One last thought as we talk about, the end of life, remembering death, striving to be the saint that God calls us to be. Mother Angelica, I heard this quote from her once. I think it's great words to live by. Sometimes we say that, Mother, I'm just shooting for purgatory because there's no way I can make it to heaven. And she said, no, honey, shoot for heaven. Because if you shoot for purgatory, you might miss. So, shoot for heaven. What's to say you can't be a saint? What's to say you can't be a great saint? You might not be known all around the world. But a great saint just needs to be one who loves God with all their heart. Who loves their neighbor with all their heart. You can do that. Because God can help you do that. So strive for that every day. Be a saint. And I hope to see everyone soon once this whole furlough ends.